Hello, you two. Ghostface is back to give you Tanner's thoughts on Scream 2. Speaking of 2, what's your favorite sequel? Mine's Terminator 2. Starting off with his positives on the opening of this movie. Like the original, this opening is awesome. It is just, I love going to the theater, so it's just nice to see a bunch of stuff at the theater where Stab has just come out based on the first Scream movie, and it's just awesome. I love seeing all the theater stuff going on because I think it would be a lot more funner going to the theater where all of this is happening instead of just going to the theater and just people sitting down. I would love to see people dress up as Ghostface going to Scream 6, which I honestly hope will happen. And I thought bringing back Cotton from Scream 1 was a good idea. In Scream 1, I framed him for killing Cindy's mother, and now he is a innocent man, and so they decided to bring him back, which I thought was a smart idea because I like the character and I like his actor. It's just fun seeing this character back. I just really enjoyed his character where after he is framed for murder, he wants to get back with his life. He wants to do all these things to become popular since he was wrongfully accused of murder. I just think his character and his character arc is different. And in an early draft of the script before it got linked on the internet back in 1997, he was originally written to be one of the killers, which I'm glad did not happen because that would have ruined his character. And it would have made him more of a red herring. It would have just kind of destroyed the arc of his character. Speaking of bringing back, I really like the return of the original cast and characters. You've got Jamie Kennedy, Courtney Cox, Nev Campbell, David Arquette. You get all the original cast members from the first Scream that survived from the first movie returning, and it's just awesome to see them all return. And they have more chemistry together since the first movie, and they're also kind of dealing with the events from the first movie. It's just nice to see all the returning cast and characters. All their chemistry is great, but as we will talk about later, Jamie Kennedy does not last long in this movie. But yeah, I'm just glad to see the returning cast and characters in this one. I feel that their chemistry is more better, and their characters are just a lot more better in this one because of, like I said, the events of the first movie. Even though that won't last long. No spoilers. I always found it funny how Luke Wilson plays the Billy in the Stab movie in this movie. I like Luke Wilson mainly because of his brother Owen Wilson. I really like watching his movies, especially old school. I just always found it funny that how he was cast as Billy Loomis from Scream. Sure, it doesn't really make sense, and he's more of a comedy person than a serious person. But it's just fun to see Luke Wilson trying to portray Billy Loomis from the first movie, and I always just found it silly. I like how the entire scene from the park where the characters are trying to find Ghostface, where uh, they're trying to figure out who the killer is, and they're discussing suspects, but then the killer calls them, and he goes, "I'm not interrupting anybody, am I? You all look deep in thought." That was a badass line I read. But anyways, and the entire scene, they try to look for me, but they fail miserably with Randy on the phone with me. But like I said, we talked about later, that does not end well for them, and I just really enjoy watching that entire scene where they're trying to find me. It's just really ridiculous when they just don't end up finding me, where they're jumping at random people on the phone in the park trying to figure out who it is, and then Jamie Kennedy's Randy is on the phone. He's just talking to him, and he's like, "Is that the best you got? Billy and Lewis were better than your ass." It's just a fun scene. It's a bit silly at times, but it is a very enjoyable scene trying to find watching these characters trying to find me. And they never did. That is sneaky. And I like how much Cindy grows in this movie. Like I said in the review of the first movie, where Cindy grows in this franchise, she is still trying to rebuild since the events of the first Scream, where all of her friends have died and all the stuff just happened, she's more prepared. Like the first thing we see her, some guy prank calls her, but it's not me. And they he says like, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And she picks up this little thing that she has where it says the name and the phone number. It's like, "Oh, hello, Cullen." He's like, "Shit," and she's just a badass. And in the final act, is more prepared. She knows what more to do. Like with Mickey, she slaps him in the face with this chain thing that she got. Yeah, I just love seeing Sydney grow throughout this series, and she will grow more. But in this one, I honestly think she's the most badass. But at the same time, I haven't watched the other Scream movies in a while, so I can't really say. But so far, Sydney is a badass, and I love seeing her grow. I honestly enjoy Mrs. Loomis as one of the Ghostface killers, where it just reminded me a lot of Pamela Voorhees from the first Friday the 13th, which they actually hint at in this movie when Randy and, oh god, Dewey are talking and they're discussing suspects. He's like, Pamela Voorhees was a great serial killer. And they even have like a little reference in the first movie about me when I'm asking Casey about a few trivia questions. But she got it wrong and I had to kill her. But they also bring it over here and it's just also supposed to be a reference to it, which I instantly got from when I was watching this movie again. And I honestly don't hate her. I think her arc is pretty good, where she's just trying to revenge the death of Billy, which I honestly enjoyed. Maybe just because I like the Pamela Voorhees character in Friday the 13th, and that's what they're trying to hint at here. And for some reason, a lot of people don't like her Ghostface. I will admit she would be in the bottom of all the Ghostfaces, but she's honestly not that bad. Now moving on to the mixed aspects are the characters. I feel that some of the characters in this movie are not as good in the first movie, where in the first movie they're all memorable in their own way, but in here they're underutilized and some of them are very forgettable, like Cindy's new best friend at college. I honestly forget her name. But I think the only character that I liked was Gail's new cameraman, and just the return of Cotton Weary because we got to see him more in this one. That's what saves it from being an absolute negative. But at the same time, there are some characters that I just like Cotton and the cameraman. But some of them were just forgettable, and they're just not noteworthy. It's a good thing I killed them. My next mixed aspect is killing off Randy. Now, the reason it's in my mix is because it feels that it was the right thing to do because you can't continue with this character for now on for forever, but I do like his character, but at the same time I just really like his character and it's just a shame that I had to kill him. But at the same time, like I said, it feels that it was necessary to kill off this character because he can't continue in this franchise forever, but well, we got Randy in this movie was pretty good, but I do wish he lived longer till the end. Maybe he dies in the finale. But like I said, it feels it was necessary to kill him at the same time. I will miss him. And now my third mixed aspect is Mickey as the killer. Now to me, he's kind of a forgettable character. I remember when I first watched this movie, which I just didn't remember his character because I thought it was pretty forgettable, and we just don't get that many scenes with him. We only get to see him like in the beginning of the movie, and then he's just kind of just there, and we forget all about him. But at the same time, the reason that he's not a negative is because of Timothy Olyphant's performance, where I honestly think his performance as Mickey is what saves him from this lame reveal that I just didn't really care for. That's the only reason that it's not in my negatives is because that it's just Timothy Olyphant saving this character. I wasn't even a big fan of Mickey, and when he feels that he's a killer, like I said, it just didn't feel special to me. Now moving on to the negatives is that this is an absolute nitpick. It's not an absolute negative. It's just a tiny little nitpick that bugs the shit out of me, and that is the fact that Randy, the film geek, out of all these characters, gets an aliens quote wrong, where the guy goes, "Stay away from her, you bitch." I believe the line is, "Stay away from her, you bitch." Randy's the one who said that, and it pisses me off that he got it wrong. It bugs the hell out of me. I know it's a nitpick, and I shouldn't really question it, but for the character that's a film geek, he is the one that gets it wrong. Now, in the script, Randy does in fact get it right, but the actor who said it right accidentally got his line mixed up with Jamie Kennedy's, so Jamie Kennedy improvised and just said the wrong line, but at the same time, it bugs the hell out of me. My next negative is the lunchroom scene. It is so cringeworthy and it is so stupid. Where Sydney's new boyfriend Derek gets on a lunchroom table and he's trying to do a reference to Top Gun, where he sings to Sydney how much he loves her. It is cringeworthy, it is stupid as shit, and people clap during it. Why? It is boring, it is stupid, it could easily be cut out of there, it has no goddamn purpose to be in here! And I killed that son of a bitch. Now moving on to my final negative is that you could cut out the theater subplot where Cindy is in this theater program where she's playing this main character, but during like one of the scenes where that she's in is that she freaks out and sees Ghostface. To me, you could cut that subplot out of there, but at the same time, I guess it's there to kind of create the final act of this movie. I honestly would have cut that scene out as well as the lunchroom scene, and just wrote a different final act. Then the theater would have had no purpose. It honestly has no purpose to be there. But at the same time, I guess they just kind of ran out of ideas at the time. But it is a negative for me personally. I feel it doesn't need to be there and has no purpose to be there. But we got it, and it's not that bad to watch. But at the same time, it's just boring. Now, this isn't a negative. This is just something I want to talk about. Why the hell does this movie need to be 2 hours long? I understand some of them are almost all 2 hours long. But why is this movie exactly 2 hours long? What are you trying to do? Win an Oscar? All in all, guys, I think this is an awesome follow-up to the first movie. To me, the first movie is an absolute masterpiece, but this movie does have its flaws for it being a sequel, which I understand, but it is a damn good sequel, and I love rewatching it every time I do. This is one of those sequels where I honestly think you should add to your collection and go out and buy it. What do you guys think of Scream 2? Is this your favorite Scream movie, like a lot of people have said? Or is this one of your least favorite movies, or do you think it's just as good as the first movie? Let me know in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Let me know what your favorite horror movie sequel is in the comments below. And if you love this movie review, like it. If you loved it, subscribe and hit the bell notification so you will get notified for my latest videos. But until the Scream 3 review, take care.